Right, so this panel is really to look at how we can strengthen partnerships between the DRC and the UK. We're looking at expanding horizons, strengthening our trade relations. We've seen exponential growth throughout the year between trade from the UK into Africa, into the DRC, and there's been a 10% increase in trade going into the DRC from the UK, and also there's been a whopping 70% increase between services, not just product trade, but services between the DRC and the UK. Now that is an impressive rate, I must admit. But how can we ensure that we keep this sustainable and also expand how much trade we are doing between the two nations? Now, we know that the DRC is endowed with so much critical mineral reserves, fertile agricultural land, and also extreme potential in hydroelectronics. Now, we could go on for a long time talking about all the wealth that the land has, but I'm sure we all heard that from the previous discussion, so I shan't go into all of that. But what we do want to say here is, we know the UK can bring a wealth of expertise into the DRC, and these are the sorts of things that we need to be tapping into. Responsible mining, infrastructural development, digital innovation, even humanitarian partnerships. All of these just to ensure that we have continuous, sustainable and inclusive growth. And today, the conversation is not just going to be about numbers. No, it's going to be about how we can build trust, how we can create transformation, true lasting transformation and shared prosperity between the two nations. So let's really talk about how we can be resilient in these changes that are happening, and also just making real tangible change that we can both thrive on collectively. So without further ado, let's dive into the very first question.
And we need to help our government to sort out such issues by bringing in our expertise to see how we can improve governance and bring in institutional reform. This is something the diaspora can contribute to.
Thank you so much. And I like what you said there. We see there are changes, but we need more. There's still more to be done in terms of security. And yes, we need to involve the communities themselves. Through my organisation, actually, it's called LIT Space, it's called Learning, Innovation and Technology Base. When we started, we were very hands-on in the camps of Kanyaruchinya inside Kivu, and we were helping with humanitarian aid. We were providing them with basic food products, we were providing them with blankets, because they're living in camps, so it gets cold, it gets wet when it rains, and the women are just, it makes me want to cry. They are maltreated, they are raped, because rape is a form of war against a nation. And we work with these women, and we provided them some training. We said, we're going to train you and give you some small microfinance, and train them on how to make various pastry products like mukati and some people call it puff if you don't know mukati, and other sorts of little things that they could make just to sell to the local people and be able to be self-sustainable and feed their children. And then we also set up little classes for the young children where we can teach them that there's so much more to life than what they know, because some of them were born in those camps. So they don't know anything other than living in a small tent that's torn down and just running around barefooted with torn clothes. So we had to teach them there's other things to look forward to. But what happened when the wars intensified and then it became hard to reach my team on ground, I felt that for their safety, we had to change our strategy. So we said we're going to build a vocational college. And actually at the moment we are in planning for that, to build capacity, to train them. And this vocational college, you will meet Matthew later on, because I know I had a conversation with Matthew in terms of building the curriculum there, because he does a lot of work with curriculum building. And what we want is for it to be international standards. So once they're finished, they can go over to the UK or to anywhere in Europe or whatever, and be able to work there as well. So this is how we can give back from the diaspora, if we're talking about what can we do as individuals here. These are the kind of ways that we can be able to help. Yes, the government does need to do more, it's true, but we have to admit, our governments have failed us for a very long time. Very, very long time. So it's about us getting our hands dirty, going there and saying, we're going to do something about it ourselves. And the government will feel shamed one day, if they actually shame people. But these are the sort of things we need to be looking at. How can we as individuals, often we point fingers and say, oh, this government's doing this and then they're doing that. Okay, but what are we doing as individuals as well? How can we go into those communities, speak to them, do surveys? It's not enough, like you mentioned, they went and gave the women underwear when the issue is much bigger than that. What do the communities really need? And how can we be of service to them? How can we enlighten them on some of the... Sometimes people don't even know what they need. They don't understand what they need because they haven't got to that level of life yet. It's like bringing 5G connection to a small village that doesn't even know a radio station. You know, what are they going to do with it? So we have to enlighten them as well of what others are doing, what other nations have. Look at the possibilities that you can also have. That will spark that creativity in their mind to be able to understand how they can also get to help themselves. But thank you for that. So I want to then move on to the last question, because I'm just being mindful of time as well. And this one is around, well, I've got 2 days, I'm going to pick one. I'm going to pick digital services and innovation. Right, so with service exports up by 70%, what does the digital future for UK and DRC look like? How can we use digital tools and infrastructure to build gaps in connectivity, logistics and access to global markets?
Okay. And go ahead. Okay, just thanks for the question. It's one of the British priorities. I had a meeting with the ambassador of the British in the DRC. We found out what are the priorities, and she spoke about 3 priorities. There might be more. Talk about communication. Communication is very, very important. The communication involves also digital communication. And digital communication will allow us to build e-government, electronic government. And also spoke about agriculture, critical minerals as well. And you'll find out there are more investors or more British investors in Katanga, in Lubumbashi. Yeah, so they are also supplying some equipment because Katanga is close to South Africa or it's close to other ports in the east. So even suppliers of as I said, some equipment. And I got a video that when I was there, just to film and find out what is coming in the see a big ticket coming from South Africa to go straight to Angozi or to Ghana. So communication is very, very important for us, and it will allow us to, it allows so many, facilitates so many things, transparency, and it can be used for quick response. So communication is one of the agenda of the British investments in the DRC.
Thank you so much.
There is something happening in Congo where with the new government there is a ministry for economy. Yes, it will say the numeric economy. So I think what the efforts now the DRC government is making is to practically use frameworks to remove regulatory frictions and secure data-driven trade access. I think that's what the Department for Economy is trying to do. And again, try to get the transformation to embrace paperless trade and other digital solutions make trade cheaper, faster, and more accessible. So they created that Department for Economy and so
we better perhaps stop there. I do apologise to the rest of you. Perhaps in the end you might want to grab a person or two and have a chit chat with them in the networking session on the next break. So that question, we did touch on capacity building. We did mention here as well about developing people and skills building. So it is being done. It is being done. Perhaps it's not at a pace that you might like to see, but we have to recognise that Congo is still a growing nation, and it's been through so much atrocities that it can't change overnight. But certainly there are a lot of professionals in the Congo, and a lot even in the diaspora that are travelling back to go and help the country. So thank you for that question. So due to time, we will have to round it up. Sorry guys.